Hi, I'm Trainer Lori, and this is The Little Thread of Life with the Big Name. Deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA. It's something that I've known a little about for a long time. After researching it, I now know a little bit more. This is what I already knew. What the 23 is in 23andMe. It is the number of pairs of chromosomes at the center of most living cells. Chromosomes can carry genetic information from one generation to the next in the form of genes. I once told a boss that he should have kids someday because there's good things going on in his genes. That's not what I meant. The other thing I knew about DNA was it told me where my ancestors were from. As a lifelong genealogist, I already knew that, but I took the Ancestry DNA spit test and discovered this. And I know that my information helps test takers who've not yet researched their family trees. So what did I learn? Emily Alicino in Genetic Genealogy helps explain that there are 4 kinds of DNA that are useful for genealogists. Let's review them. The first is Y-DNA, which tracks the male line in a family from father to son. My father got it from his father, who got it from his father. How much did I get? Nada. This is because women don't have the Y chromosome. We have 2 X's instead. I have 3 X's, but that has nothing to do with DNA. I purchased a Y DNA kit from Family Tree DNA for my son Brad. This test indicated that they have the same base DNA as King Tut. Do you see the resemblance? Mitochondrial DNA is more generous. It traces the mother's line from mother to all her children, but only her daughters pass it on to their children. Here my grandmother Gertrude got it from her mother Eunice and passed it to her daughter Pat. But Ella is her father's mother, so this grandma didn't pass hers to any of these girls, but only her son, where it stopped. Autosomal DNA is the most democratic. Everyone has it and everyone shares it, no matter their sex. My grandma Gertrude got some from her father, her grandfather, and great-grandmother, Gunhild the Norwegian. My grandmother and her grandfather both went deaf as an adult. Now we know it was genetic. While all DNA research is new, the X chromosomal is the newest, and your test may not include it. Everyone has some, but it is from the X chromosome, which means who has more, the brother or the sister. I hope you said sister. Blaine Bettinger in Genetic Genealogy and Practice shows how much a brother will get versus his sister, who gets this much more. How much DNA do we inherit? 100% of all that we have, and 50% from each parent. As I learned from Krista Cowan, the barefoot genealogist on YouTube, it's random, so you never know what you're going to get. It's just like a box of chocolates or a bowl of fish soup. This bowl of cioppino is like mixing all the DNA from my parents together in one gene pool. I get my DNA from each of my parents, but it can be a different 50% from each parent than what my sister gets. Sometimes you get the mussels, and sometimes you get the shrimp. How many ancestors make up our gene pool? In 10 generations, we have 1,024 ancestors, based on simple math. 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and so on. If we go back 40 generations to Charlemagne, simple math tells us we would have 1 trillion ancestors. But there's a problem with that. There were only 220 million people in the world back then. So what does that say for us descendants today? We are all related. So next time you see someone, be sure to say, "Hi, cousin." We can prove that with my favorite part of genetic genealogy, the haplogroup, which groups together those with the same most recent common ancestor from centuries ago. It starts at A for genetic atom, in which we all share the same base DNA. When there is a large variation called a mutation, the letter changes and numbers are added for minor changes. For example, the R1 common ancestor is from Southeastern Asia, but RM2 is European. My haplogroup is RM269. And there is a DNA project to match Mayflower pilgrims with their progeny. Descendants of these pilgrims all belong to RM269. And those in yellow are the relationships I can prove on paper. It looks like I still have a lot of work to do that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't researched that little thread of life.